Hey, what's going on YouTube? Back with another video. This is Wrightway J, Wrightway be trucking. Urging everybody right now to like, comment, subscribe, share. Definitely appreciate everybody for that. Alright, so in this video, for those who may not know, I'm on the owner-operator side of things in trucking. So there's two things that are very important about being an owner-operator when it comes to trucking. Is that you got money management and you got time management. And with money management, okay, so with money management, you know, you have to, of course, manage your money, make sure every dollar is accounted for, so that if you get into a situation where it's like your truck is broken down and it's like, okay, well, how am I going to sustain myself while my truck is down? Well, that's where the money management comes into play. That's where the savings comes into play. You know, getting in good with financial institutions so that if something goes wrong and you need to like borrow a couple bucks to hold you down till things get better, you know where to go. So that's why money management is good. Also, credit is good as well. And another thing is time management. Time management is key, especially like if you're a person who has a family like myself, then time management is everything, because you got to make time for yourself, time for work, time for your family, and time for, you know, whatever else you got to make time for. So, I mean, me personally, like what I do is I'll get up like 2 hours before it's even time for me to get up. And the reason I'll get up like 2 hours before it's time for me to get up is because that'll give me enough time to like really like get up and, you know, really start feeling like I'm up. Because if I've been up for 2 hours, I'm up. You know that, but that's me. Versus me getting up like an hour before I gotta get up, or 30 minutes before I gotta get up. Nah, that ain't gonna work with me. And plus, even with me getting up 2 hours early, when I leave to go out for my load, even if I leave at the time that I, like, for example, let's say I gotta be in my truck like at 7. Alright, I'll set my alarm for 5. Get to my truck at 7. And even when I get to my truck at 7 and leave, wherever I'm going, I'm still an hour ahead of schedule. So I guess technically it's like 3 hours ahead of time if you want to look at it that way. I mean, you know, it's something. But that's what it is, man. Time management is so very important in just trucking, period. I mean, in life, period, man. I mean, you definitely want to manage your time, like, you know what I'm saying, because your time is your most precious commodity. You know, it's the one thing that you can't take back. I mean, you can take back the money, but you can't take back the time. You get what I'm saying? So time management is very important. Money management is very important. When you out here on the road, going to these truck stops like the Pilots and the TAs, you know what I'm saying, the Loves, little mom and pop spots, you got to be careful, because you could spend $20 like easy in a truck stop. You know, and if you just starting out like how I was, like when I first started out, hey man, we had to thug it out. Like, you know what I'm saying, we couldn't shop at the truck stop. We had to go straight to like Walmart or Dollar Tree or whatever like that and get whatever snacks we could get or food we could get to make it last, you know what I'm saying? So many nights was like Chef Boyardee, like straight out the can. And if you're a real trucker, you know exactly what I'm talking about, trust me. So I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, many nights like that. I'm talking about we gotta put the can beside the heat, like beside the vent, and turn the heat on. just so it can heat up. You know, some guys, they'll take the can and put it beside their motor just so it can heat up, you know what I'm saying? But that's just some of the things you gotta know when it comes to trucking. It's just like how to manage your time, manage yourself, and manage situations when they come to you. Here's another example. Like, I'm stuck in traffic right now. You know, apparently there's some type of construction on the road or whatever like that. So I gotta, for those who may not know, like drivers, we can only drive a certain amount of time, and we have a clock that we use to control our time. It's called e-logs, electronic logging devices. Like, if you don't know, trust me, when you get to school, you'll know. I mean, me as an owner operator, I used to keep trucking, so that's what I've been using. That's what works for me, and I love it. But managing your time and making sure that you got enough time to get back home, man. See, that's one of the things about trucking is that when it comes to trucking, it's like your job isn't done until the work is done. So anybody coming into this thinking that, you know, I'm gonna come in at 8, I'm gonna leave at 5, and that's how it's gonna go. Nah. Especially over the road, please forget about it. Think you working a regular 9 to 5 or something like that. All right, go ahead. This game will show you better than it can tell you. It will show you better than I can tell you. You know what I'm saying? You know, now another beautiful thing about trucking is that it'll definitely change your, it will change your life for sure. Like, if you're on the right path, and you're staying on the right path, it'll change your life, man. Like, the money that comes with it is beautiful. The freedom that comes with it is beautiful. You know, like I never forget when my homeboy, cause the one who introduced me in the trucking, he told me, like, hey man, as soon as you get into it and you start getting your feet wet, trust me, you will never go back to a 9 to 5 ever again. I didn't understand them back then. But now being in it for a few years, yeah, you don't want to go back to a regular 9 to 5 after doing this right here, man. Forget it. It's not. You're not gonna do it. Trust me. You know, but I love it, man. Like I couldn't see myself doing really anything else, man. I mean, there's other things, of course, that I want to do, like, but this has been a very fulfilling career, and I love it, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing. If anything, I would urge more people to get into it. Like, I mean, the industry is wide open right now. I mean, jobs are like all over the place, and you know, definitely the more experience you have, the more money you can request. You know, so that's something interesting as well. You know, you get more power when you jump into at least this field. Well, any field, any profession that's like a skilled labor, the more experience you have, the more power you get, because you can actually start asking for more money because you have the experience and a skill to back up the number that you want. You know, you can't just go to like a regular 9 to 5, like a regular like entry level job, like at a grocery store or at a fast food spot or at like a little at a shopping center or something like that. And you can come in there saying that, yeah, man, I'm worth $30 an hour, but they gonna tell you like, hey, man, the best we can do is about $8.25. Take it or leave it. If you ain't got no skills, and you got some bills that you got to pay, hey, you'll figure out how to make that $8.25 work. That's the way it goes. Like, when you don't have a skill, it's like you got to bend to the will of others, because you got to do, you don't have nothing you can stand on. Versus like with what I do with trucking, it's a skill. Not everybody can do it, which is why I have a certain say-so as far as like the money. And like that type of freedom, that type of power, that type of control, no 9 to 5 can ever replace that. And you talking to a guy who worked like a bunch of 9 to 5s. I'm talking about from grocery stores, dollar stores, like freaking call centers. I worked at the state prison for a little while. That was an experience. Let's just say, like, my first day on the job, I saw an officer get assaulted, and needless to say, my stay out there wasn't too long, man. But they kind of blackballed me with that, man. Like, it's a crazy story. It was a blessing. It was a blessing in disguise, anyway. Looking back on hindsight, it was a blessing in disguise. So, you know, the guys at the prison, man, who cut me loose on some BS, man, I appreciate y'all, man, because I never, ever would have gotten in the trucking had I stayed at that prison. So I thank y'all for firing me, even though it was some BS, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what it was, like, real short, I was supposed to go to a training camp. Now, my prison told me that I had to be to this training camp at, like, I think it was like 9 o'clock. And I was on my way to the training camp. I called, I'm like, hey man, they said I'm supposed to be there at 9 o'clock. They were like, no, you're supposed to be here at 8 o'clock. And remind you, it was like 8:15, 8:20 when I called them. And I was like, maybe like 30 minutes away or whatever like that. So they it was something along the lines of that. I know I wasn't that far away, and I had to turn around. So I turned around, I went back to my prison, I told them what the training camp told me, and long story short, they fired me. Straight up, they just cut me loose. I'm like, hold on, man. Y'all told me that I had to be there at 9. The training camp said I had to be there at 8 o'clock. And I'm the one that's fired. And after that, not too long after that, I got into trucking. You know what I'm saying? So, I say all that to say this. After working a bunch of regular 9 to 5 jobs, and then driving trucks, I can clearly see the difference. And it's a huge difference. The level of power and the level of control you get in this industry is unimaginable. So for those who just down, who don't know what to do, where to go, listen, you looking at somebody who was there. You talking to a cat who was like stealing food out of Dollar Tree just to live. You know what I'm saying? You talking to a cat who had to sit in a household full of people eating rice and chicken and corn and drinking Kool-Aid. Meanwhile, I'm in the bedroom crying, eating some chips and a Hot Pocket that I stole out of Dollar Tree with a glass of water that I got out the sink. You know what I'm saying? And I'm living with people, I'm helping pay the rent. And I mean, there was times when the rent was down, you know, I made sure that their rent was cool because we was all, you know, all together. So it was just so crazy that a situation happened where I was down and they basically kicked me while I was down. So, you know, needless to say, not too long after that, got on that bus for Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Started driving them 18-wheelers. And I ain't never looked back, man. So I tell anybody, man, if you're looking for a way to change your life, if you're looking for a way to put some more money in your pocket and just build your self-esteem up more, man. Because when you're making money, it builds your self-esteem up, man, in so many ways. And I know I had low self-esteem at one time. Now, not so much. But anyway, y'all like, comment, subscribe, share. This is Wrightway J. Wrightway be trucking. Appreciate y'all. Two fingers to the next time.